Hello, everybody. Welcome today with me to another admonition with Baba Yooba. Today, we will be facing the reality of life without shying away from responsibility. Because a lot of time, a lot of people have actually thought that this way of life, African spirituality, is a perfect opportunity to shy away from responsibility. And we've had ourselves in debate, series of debate of wanting to clarify if there is God, if there is no God, if we should worship ourselves or worship anything or worship ourselves. If the place where God is located is in the sky or within us. And I'm going to tell you a story which I have told you before. I wish you would listen attentively. So one day, Oromila, Baba Agboneregun, was seated quietly under the tree of divination. Lórí òkè ìtàsẹ̀. He was surrounded by his disciples who came to him, always learning at his feet. And one certain man came. He is a leader of a certain sect. He has become such an influential leader in that environment that the place was like a camp and a mini village. His word is yea and amen, so as they say. And all his life, he has always propagated the concept that there is God somewhere in the sky. With the singular propagation of the concept of the existence of God, this man had scattered away millions from people. And one of these teaching, an audience stood up and said, "Sir, for a minute, what if there is no God? Don't you think you will regret living all this pious life? What if there is possibility of God not being there? We have deprived ourselves of so many pleasures of life. We couldn't sleep with the women we want to sleep with. We couldn't take the money we want to take. We couldn't live in the luxury we deserve." And the man thought to himself, "I'm of age. It is worth giving a try." So he said, "I'm going to go to Oromila, Baba Agboneregun, because the word of Babalawo is the word of the universe. They are usually the wisest being, having applied their mind to knowledge, living in seclusion, isolation, and constant understanding of the omen of life." So this man went to Oromila and asked, "Oromila, do you think there is God?" And Oromila looked at him. Ogbefa Jonle did some gesticulation and say, "There is no God." And the man was happy. The disciples were surprised. The man went away joyously, went to his people, and told them, "There is no God. Live your life. Do what you will. Take control, vandalize things, sleep with women, sleep with men. Do all you want to do. There is no consequence. There is no God. Forget about the concept of heaven and hell." The news spread across the old town to other villages. "Oh, Oromila said there is no God. So there is no God. Everybody live your life." There is another man who all his life he has developed a sect, gathered his follower on the concept that there is no God. That one is an atheist. And one of his teaching, his disciples said, what if there is God? If you have lived your life so recklessly and there is God after life, is it worth risking eternity in hell for? You will be damned to condemnation. You will be punished. And the man said, I'm of age too. It's worth giving a try. What if there is God? And I've lived my life all this while saying there is no God. Surely I need to consult Orunmila and ask for his own verdict. So the man went to Orunmila on the same day. Orunmila baba Agbonirigun. I think there is no God, but what if there is God? And Orunmila said, okay, give me a minute. Ogbefajanle did some things. If I look once or dayo, eleri ipin atori eni ti o sunwon se, ma fi re pe bi ma fi re ma fololo fohun. And Orunmila said, there is God. The disciples of Orunmila were wondering, the man who has always lived his life preaching that there is God came to you and you said there is no God. The man who has lived all his life preaching that there is no God came to you and you said there is God. What are we going to believe? Orunmila, you have never been this confusing before. But in a jiffy, the man who came to him last went back and started saying, there is God. Everybody behave yourself. Take responsibility for your actions. Don't mess around. Live a holy life. Be moral. Don't vandalize things. Don't cheat people. Let your conscience guide you. There is life after death. There is God. Don't. And people were confused. You have lived your life saying there is no God. All of a sudden you say there is God. The other one has lived his life saying there's God. Now he's saying there's no God. What shall we believe? But the most confused set of people in this story are the disciples of Orunmila. Orunmila, why are you messing life up? And Orunmila said, tomorrow you will understand what I just taught you. Get yourself ready. We are going on a trip. And the following morning, they started off on a trip. This is an admonition. And while they were going, they first visited the village, the camp, being headed by the man who has always believed there is a God. And suddenly, because of what Orunmila said there is no God. When they got to this used to be calm, perfect, awesome, well-organized village, they saw dead bodies at Market Square. They saw houses being vandalized. They saw women in tears. They saw children in chaos. They saw famine. They saw hunger. They saw so many things that are horrible, too horrific to describe. And Orunmila said, look at this very well. This used to be a village where people take responsibility for their lives because they believe there is God. Now, the moment they believe there is no God, they mess everything up. But we will not conclude. Let's visit another village. They went to the village of the one who used to believe there is no God and now believe there is God. It used to be a very chaotic place. No order, no law, no respect for mutual respect for human living. But all of a sudden, everyone was organized. People were looking happy. Everybody so calm. And the disciples said, this used to be a very notorious angle. And Orunmila said, a man who refused to believe there is God, but now believe there is a God, is now living as the God that he believes in. Said if there is a God or there is no God, it is only human being that gives this God an expression. It is an inability to take responsibility that makes humankind create God for themselves. So those who say there is no God create chaos. Why? Because of the absence of consequences in their heart. And those who believe that there is a God create order. Why? Because they are looking for a reward. Now, unknowingly to two of them, the chaos they are running from, they have created. The order they are looking for, they have also created. So those who were scared of heaven, scared of hell, can create hell the moment they believe there is no God. Those who are looking for heaven can create heaven the moment they believe that there is God. So either hell or heaven, it is all creation of man. Either there is God or there is no God. It is the action of man that determines it. That day, Orunmila said, look at the stream flowing forward. If there is God or there is no God, it will never stop the stream from flowing forward. Look at those trees growing gradually. The argument of if there is God or there is no God will never stop it from growing. Every single day you wake up, the sun will shine. Either you believe there is God or no God. When the rain is pouring, it will pour on everyone. Either they believe there is God or there is no God. He said it is useless arguing if there is God or no God. It is useful living as the God you are looking for. That day, Orunmila taught his disciple the greatest lesson of their life. Never again to engage in the argument of if there is God or no God, but to live as the God they are looking for. So to you, my listener today, an admonition to you. You were born without the knowledge of God, without the knowledge of Satan, without the knowledge of evil, without the knowledge of good. You were born simply as a blank check. Everything you hold so firmly today are all as a result of indoctrination, miseducation. You learned the concept of hell here. You learned the concept of heaven here. You learned the concept of death here. And you learned the concept of life here. The universe did not create you with this consciousness within you. The only consciousness that the universe gave to all elements of the nature is the consciousness of responsibility. The responsibility first to survive, because that is the first law of nature, self-preservation. A little child wants to survive, so he or she cries for food, struggle to survive. A man really don't want to be ridiculed, and the process of surviving the ridicule, he goes out to earn money for himself and apply respect to his name. A woman don't want to be called barren. She will put in all it takes to be called the mother of so and so. You and I were not created with the concept or the understanding or the consciousness of God or Satan, heaven, hell, this or that. All we were created for was to survive, becoming human. And it only takes a very fantastic set of people out there to understand that being human is super enough. To want to be supernatural is something out of the blue moon. Being human is super enough. Are you human enough? That's why they call you human being, becoming human. And when you truly become a human, they say the way you act to others is humane enough. It is when you start living in a humane condition with others that you truly become the God you are looking for. Some of you are looking for God because you desire mercy. Can you have mercy on others and leave God out of the equation? A lot of you are looking for God because you desire forgiveness of the things you have done, maybe in the time you don't know or the time you are conscious. Can you first of all be God over other people who have offended you by giving out the forgiveness to them? Because what you don't give, you can't get. Some of you just want to eat. If we leave it to God, the over 5 million people in Yemen today who are struggling with drought and famine will die if you and I don't take action or do anything about it. So one day I took a picture and somebody was saying, this is how God is looking down on you from heaven. I said, God is mad and God is useless. God is such a time waster, an energy waster, a resource waster, that all he does is to look at me, who can provide my 3 square meal and live the life I want, while he look away suddenly from those who truly need him in Yemen. Somebody say God can save me if I travel by air or road. He's the one who protects me. I say God is foolish. If God really have the power to protect, why doesn't he rescue people who are held-bound, hostage by terrorists and kidnappers? Those are the people who are in need of God. They have been shouting, God, please help us. But suddenly when responsibility comes, God run away. If you and I don't take responsibility of our life, we become an element of accident. Look at yourself since you woke up this morning. Those who believe in God have probability of getting into an accident today. But you woke up and you did everything you have done so far with your consciousness. I'm not broadcasting to you by mistake. I'm broadcasting because I want to. This is not being done by God. It is done by me. If you want to cross the road, can you please say, God, come and take control. Don't look to your left or your right. Let's see how effective God is. If you are driving your car today, can you just say, God, come and take the wheel, then close your eyes and drive. Let's see how responsible and how effective God is. If you are hungry, don't go to the kitchen or order for food. Just say, God, come and feed me with manna from heaven. Let's see how provident God is. If you are sick, don't look for doctors or medicine to cure you. Say, God, come and heal me. Let's see how medicinal God is. You realize that everything I have done so far, I have said so far, are product of your own actions and inactions. If you don't wake up today to take responsibility for the joy you are looking for the happiness you are looking for, as long as you push things in the hand of God, you become a product of accident. And you know what happened to those who are product of accident? They believe in fate, F-A-T-E, and they refuse to change anything or influence their life at all. They believe this is how my life is going to go, and they allow it to go that way. In the process, their life went the way it shouldn't at all. Taking responsibility makes you God. Do you know that there is no God in Mars currently, M-A-R-S? But allow humans, except those, especially those who are religious, get to Mars, God will surely surface in Mars. Until some people gather their knowledge together to make a device that can transport people from planet Earth to planet Mars, God never thought it possible. God never made it real. But until mankind created an equipment to take them from Earth to Mars, God will surely surface in Mars. You see, there is nowhere God is until mankind gets there. Everywhere is null and void until man steps in place and bring God to that. And the God is the man is the God. So sometimes you say, God is omnipresent. Yes, because mankind are everywhere. Everywhere in physical, everywhere in energy. I was talking to a friend yesterday after a divination. She was mentioning how people of other race will look up to her and say, you are meant to be fantastic, you are this. How is it possible that those who of other race and other concept of spirituality are able to know and reckon with me that I'm special? And I said, you are not this. You are an energy. Energy floats. Energy is recycled. Energy cannot be created. Energy cannot be destroyed. So people don't see you as the lady with the big bum, the guy with a thick voice. People encounter you as an energy. You must have flowed around them before. They must have encountered you in the realm called the unseen before. So when they see you, they reckon with the energy in you, which you call aura. They don't reckon with the flesh, the skin you have. And I said, right now you are in America, I'm in Nigeria. But can you for once imagine that we are both standing in front of Taj Mahal in India, and she said she can see herself in India right here, and I could see myself there too. I said that is what is meant to be omnipresent. You are everywhere at the same time, but we need a reference point to approach your energy, and that's why the nature and the universe gave you your body. This body is a window to your energy, but you are omnipresent. So sometimes you think of a friend of yours that you have not heard from for years, and that day they text you, they message you, they call you. It is not God in action. It is you being God. Interconnectivity of the universe. The most complex and the most universal database is the universe itself, which you live in. Those who know how to connect the universe can reach anywhere, anyone, anything they want at the same time. That's why you could be living in Yugoslavia and I'm doing divination for you here, and it will be so accurate. That's why you could be somewhere hiding away in the cave, and I want you to run mad. I just speak to the air. It touches you where you are. Sorry, I don't make people run mad. I'm just saying it. You are everywhere at the same time. Except you refuse to ignore or you refuse to acknowledge and stay in the state of ignorance. Nothing should be hidden from you. Sometimes you say, this has happened before. It may not have happened before. It may be happening as you are seeing it. You have the ability to know everything at every time. So things don't happen to you. Things happen for you. But how much of that God are you becoming? You have zoned responsibility to the sky God. The guy with white beard, with white skin, with white clothes, who seated on the throne, with one sun shining over his head. You have neglected who you are as the God you are looking for. So the debate of if there is God, if there is no God, should not come to mind for us. The debate of if you have become God enough and have become God enough should be things that we invest our time in talking about. How God are you? I won't say how godly. How God are you? How God are you over your scheme of things, over your own family, over your own life? And when I say how God are you, I don't mean how controlling are you. I don't mean how domineering are you. I don't mean how imposing are you. I don't mean how oppressive are you. I'm saying how benevolent are you? How much responsibility are you taking over the things that is committed in your care by the universe? The people you touch, the people that come across you, the people that have seen you, the people who have heard you talk, the people who have sat with you, the people who have touched you, the people who have shaken you, the people who have dealt with you, the people who have had business with you. How much of God have you become in their life? When you die today, what memory of God can they carry about you? This is not a church sermon. How God are you? Can you be the God you are looking for to yourself first and to others by taking responsibility? So you don't blame it on Isha Ishuni, it is the work of Satan. No. So when we demystify the concept of the sky God, can you see that even you, in your state of being God, will not create a creature like Satan? So if you are the God, would you create Satan? So there's nothing like Satan. Nothing like Satan anywhere in the world, or in the sky, or everywhere. Because if you are God, you won't create Satan. You are not dumb. Only the sky God is dumb enough to create an enemy he cannot quench and call himself omnipowerful. You are not dumb, surely. In the position of that sky God, you would have created a manual such that you can override whatever is happening when something tries to. And instead of you to create human beings that will be contending with the Satan you cannot contend with or win over, you rather focus your energy in deactivating what you have created. Clean up your mess. You are not dumb. So you are not that sky God. You are a better God than the God of the Christians. You are a better God than the God of the Muslim. You are not Allah. You are God. Simply what you are. Take responsibility. So the debate comes in this way. That are we atheists? We are not. But do we believe in the sky God? We don't. The atheists don't believe in the concept of Godship, but we believe that God is we and we are God. In contrary to the religious folk also, we don't believe that there is a God in the sky. We believe that we are God and we are here. Ability to take your decision and stand by it. Ability to look out for the good of others and the good of yourself. That if you are given the opportunity to run the world, what would you say? What would you do? Would you make the world cease to live because somebody did not dance to your tune? That's why so many of you are here to begin to tap into your divine reality. Because when you know how to manipulate things, you mess life up. African spirituality brings you to the place of responsibility. We will not hide the evil gimmicks they hear from you, and will not hide the good ones from you, but will allow you to choose. So when you see those who crusade African spirituality and try to impose it on you, they are not really African spiritualists. African spirituality is about telling you the truth of yourself. Now, you can tell people the truth, you can't tell them what to do with the truth. The responsibility of doing with the truth what they ought to do with the truth lies on the hand of the people who hear the truth. So I'm asking you today, will you stop looking for God, or will you become the God you are looking for? Some of you just need to rise up from your bed today and heal yourself of this depression, of this stagnation, of this setback, of this blame game. Some of you just need to step out there and start living your life and stop blaming other people for your misfortune. That's all you need to do. So much evil in the world, so much hunger in the world, so much chaos in the world, so much crime in the world. What are you doing to reduce it? Do you just talk about it, or you take proactive steps to make sure you put a smile on someone's face? One per time. One per time. One person being God to one person per time. You are not a God of the sky. You are not dumb. You won't instigate some people to kill other people and steal their land. You are not the God of the sky, so you won't show favoritism. Say these are your chosen nation, they are your royal priesthood, they are your holy people, and no, you will love everybody the same way. So Olodumare concept of divinity here is not discriminating. So I see a lot of our black folks exhibiting black supremacy against people of white skin and all that, and say, no, we don't want them around us, and all of those things. I'm saying, if you are God enough, you realize that we are all children of the universe. And nobody should look down on anybody because of the color of their skin. The mistake their ancestors made, you must not make it as an ancestor. Because what goes around comes around. When you choose to treat the descendant of your slave master the way your slave master treated your ancestors, you can make it for a while. But their children will also rise again. And their two wrongs will never make it right. And the vicious cycle of hate, love, keep living. So the concept of if there is God or there's no God. So many people have invited me to their platform to talk about it. I said it's wasted of time. I have need for my time. I have beautiful things I want to say to people. I have things that will give them wisdom and help them to maximize their potential in life, than to sit there debate about God. And I said, if there is God at all, would the rain stop falling? If there is no God at all, would humanity stop coming into this world? Because to me, God is useless. God is useless if he can't put $1 million in my table right now. He said, ask, it shall be given. I'm asking $1 million on my table right now, without my own effort. God is useless if he can't give me $1 million on my table just right now. And God is useless if he's going to give me that $1 million through the help of another human being. As long as there's a human interference, God is useless to me. The man or the human is the God I'm looking for. So I would rather go out there and work for $1 million than pray for $1 million from a God who cannot even feed himself with $1 million and still expecting the 1/10 of my own sweat to survive. Somebody was praying. He was hungry. He was praying to God, the sky God, in his room. If only you can feed me, I'll be glad. And another person in his house was going to supermarket. He saw a bread that he couldn't finish and decided to pick it. Say, I will drop by that uncompleted building and I will give the bread to them there. That's his usual habit. And on his way out, he forgot. But he went back to pick the bread out of sacrifice. So when he got to the uncompleted building, he saw 4 children crying profusely. And immediately he gave them the bread. They said, our mother went out since morning looking for what we're going to eat. Excuse me. We have not taken even water since morning. And the person who gave them the bread did not believe in God. But it's in all usual habit, he just loved to give. And having given those children the bread, their strength was revived, their face was lightened. And he went back to his car. And he asked himself, what if I am not giving them the bread at the time I gave to them? What if I said, tomorrow I will do it? I have it in mind to do, but I don't do it on time. Will those children die? Will they develop some ulcer kind of thing in their tummy? And that day, that man said, it will not be enough for me to be God in every situation. I will surely be God on time. So when you move from the concept of being God, being a looker or a seeker of God, to being God, you must also understand that even this Godship is subjected to time. The fact that you have the intention and you have it at hand and postpone it till tomorrow has nullified your Godship. Whatever help you need to render, if you have it at hand, do not say to people, come back tomorrow, I will think about it. For it will be useless for you to give me food when I've already died of hunger. It will be useless for you to give me a ride when I've already trekked to my destination. It will be useless for you to say the right word when I've already made a mistake. It will be useless for you to pay my hospital bill when my organs have already failed. So being God is not enough. Being God on time makes difference. I didn't cook up the story. It happened to me. And I but wonder, what if I delayed it tomorrow and say I'll give it to them tomorrow? They have not eaten since morning. So I'll move on to appeal to your heart today. There is such a thing called the sacrifice to mankind. A situation where you earmark a certain percentage of your monthly fund as a sacrifice to other human beings. The concept of African spirituality is about giving. Giving. That's why we always say, sacrifice this, sacrifice that. Buy this, sacrifice it, and all. And in order for a Babalawo not to be overwhelmed with food, we also say, when you bring a goat, having done what we need to do for you with it, release this goat. Let it go to those who are hungry so that they can also have something to eat. So whatever goodness you have allowed to go around will always come around to you. So I said, what habit are you cultivating as a God? An habit of earmarking a certain percentage of your money as a sacrifice to humankind, making the planet better, making the universe go round with your giving. I'm a quick call you for my daddy won you or my daddy won. It is not until you are in a corner when you need help that you will not be mandated to offer sacrifice. In the same economy you are, that you could afford 3 square meal a day, some people cannot. COVID happened to us all. Some died, you are alive. Some are hungry, it eats them adversely, but you still could get some money in your pocket. This period, some people are still buying new cars, some people are still buying new houses. But I'm saying, how much of sacrifice are you offering to mankind like you, being a God in their situation? So it is not enough for you to be God. Be God on time. Don't be like those who say 1,000 years in the face of God is like a day in this. It is the sky God that wastes time to come to people's rescue. Ifa olokun asoro dayo, atoba jage majaya lolo. It means Ifa, the one who knows the deep of the sea, the one who turns sorrows to happiness, the present help in times of need. That is the kind of life you are supposed to be living. Not the person who knows, okay, I can do this, but let me suffer them a little so that they can know my value. It is God that waits for you to pray unto him, fast, shout, rant, go to mountain, suffer, put money down, sow your seed, pay money. It is your sky God that does that. Can you do exactly opposite to what the sky God do and be a better God in the life of people? When you find a need to feel it without a request. Do yours and wait for no credit. Be a God in all sense of perfection. That's why I wonder. So many young people said they want to learn Ifa and be a Babalawo like myself. I said, do you know what it takes to be a Babalawo? Few days ago, I almost was shutting down. I had not enough strength to even hold my own hands together. I was exhausted, trying to look out for people. You could be sleeping on your own, and the universe will wake you up and say, do this for such a person, watch out for them and all that. These are people who are not giving you any money. Can you be that selfless? So sometimes some people will come to me and say, their children have this, their children have that. I say, this is not the matter. This is not a spiritual matter. This is health matter. So while trying to help them in this way, I'm also raising funds to send them abroad or home to get medical allowance under a charity organization, making sure that if we are not God here, we are God here. We live a life of godliness or Godship, helping people whatever way we can. So sometimes I have to sit people down and tell them, not everything is a spiritual problem. Let me give you money. Some people will pay divination token. I want to return it back to them and add more money for them and say, go and see a doctor. Whatever the doctor says, I will talk to my people. They are generous people. I have gods in my corner. We will sponsor the medical bill and your child will be okay. A certain man came to me and said, my child's head is getting bigger. Being a man of experience, I've dealt with so many children with tumor in their head before. And I asked, this child, when the child was little, has she ever had a jaundice, yellow fever before? They said yes. Meningitis, said yes. Have you treated? He said they use herbs. I said, you don't use herbs for that. You seek proper medical condition. Now there's a complication. A tumor is growing in this girl's head. But your pastor told you it's a spiritual attack. It's not a spiritual attack. Let's raise money and open up this girl's brain and settle it. And we started working on that. I'm saying wherever community you find yourself, are you trying to be a God there? Not a God that imposes on others, but a God that is looking for how to serve and how to service others with what you have. Because in the multitude of your service, are you also replenished by the universe? It's like an irrigation. The mass of water that passes through an irrigation that is flowing out is way bigger than the mass of water that is passing through an irrigation that is containing and not releasing. Can you be a better irrigation? Because as an irrigation, if you allow yourself to pass out to others, you evade or you avoid the risk of stinking, breeding bacteria and accumulating dirt. Just flow outside. The more you receive, let it also go outside. And you'll be clean as crystal. But when you become an irrigation that hold bound everything, you just hold it bound, hold it bound, hold it bound, you will not be able to. And you'll be stinking, breeding bacteria. At least if you can't be God, be an irrigation. A good irrigation that flows. So the masses of water that pass across you can be quantifiable and be substantial and also be clean. So I beseech you, listen to me. Don't go to church to pray. Don't go to mosque to bow to Allah. Be in the society living as God. The money you gather together to build auditorium, buy land to build churches, mosques for yourself. Can you please gather it together to build a foster home, to build a shelter, to build a low-scheme housing, to build a shifting housing for people? There are a lot of young girls out there who would not be into prostitution if only they have a roof over their head so that they can pursue other aspects of life. There are a lot of children out there who are going through domestic abuse. Some of these children you guys go to Cotonou to go and bring as a slave, and you say they want to abolish slavery. Your husband is sleeping with them. Your sons are raping them. The only reason why they are taking that in is because they don't have a place to run to. Instead of building a church, can you be the place for them to stay? Can you be a God in their life? Give them a refuge, a place where they can go. A lot of wives are out there. The only reason why they are putting up with the nonsense of their husband, the domestic abuse, is because they don't have a place to stay. Their parents say you don't come back here. The society say you don't come back here. If they know that there's a place to run to, when this man nearly took their life, so many of them will not be 6 feet under right now. Instead of building churches and mosques, instead of building big auditoriums and saying this is the way, this is the house of the Lord, can't you build house for gods and let them stay there for a while? A little pound here, a little dollar here, a little naira here. When we come together and we create a better heaven for people, people will be living in heaven here on earth and not wishing to die before they enjoy it. Paradise can be created here. All a man needs is a roof over his head and 3 square meals and a cloth behind his back. And look at you today, check your wardrobe. There are clothing, there are shoes there you have not used for the past 6 months, and you say you are not the devil people are praying against. Some of your children waste chicken, turkey, and all that. And yet, you are praying for heaven when you can create heaven in the life of others with the same thing you are wasting away. In the name of God, you buy a factory and turn it to the house of God and call people into that same house to pray for job. In the name of God, you buy manufacturing houses, warehouses, turn it to church, and call people to come and pray for job in a place where you... Oh no, what is wrong with Africans? White men decided to be their own God. That's why you run to their country. It looks like paradise to you. Can you create paradise here in Africa too? This is what African spirituality is teaching us. $1 billion project here, $1 billion monumental structure there, real estate everywhere, all in the name of God. God has stolen from people than anyone can in the world wide. God alone, stolen from people. God alone, stolen from people more than any thief can steal from anyone. So I'm saying, can you be that God who took money from that sky God and give it back to other gods so they can also have the opportunity of being God in themselves? Because we must lead by example. A God that needs you to build a house for him is not a God at all. A God that needs you to pay him is not a God at all. So in this way of life, we will say, let us appease your own Ori. When we give you items, I made it clear for you, I say, the items we are asking of you is the way universe asks you to give things back to the people and the element of the universe. What we call sacrifice here is not a sacrifice to any demon. It's a sacrifice, something you take out of your pocket and give to others who don't have. And that's the reason why we say the things we use for you are not carrying evil or demon or whatever possession from you, giving it to others. So I can gladly say the universe wants you to buy a ram. When we finish using the ram, we'll take the ram to an orphanage home. Let the children eat and be filled. They will be blessing you. And you will be blessed in two ways. You have obeyed the universe. You have also fed people. So people will say there are also people who are Christians and Muslim and also good. You can't serve the sky God and be good. Let it not look like the conversation is shifting gradually, but I'm saying, can we have this thing and normalize it to say that you cannot serve the sky God and be good? Number one, the sky God is a lie. It's an instrument of divide and conquer. The sky God is an hoodlum, looking for where to loot the palliative of the pepper seller, the Okada rider, and everyone who cares to listen to. So religion will make other people rich at your expense. Spirituality will make all of you comfortable. Spirituality is the journey towards being that God that you are looking for. So another way to say spirituality is to say, man, know yourself. So when you know yourself enough, you realize that you don't need the sky God to live. All the things we have been doing using African spirituality, and people have been giving testimony. We didn't mention Jesus. We refuse to acknowledge Allah. We always only call the ori of the person involved, and we say, come and fight for them. Come and help them out. And things happen. Please, are we still demonic? Are we still demonic? A process of knowing yourself is what spirituality entails. And one of the things you will come or stumble upon in this way is being God. It may look so extraordinary. It may look so out of the blue moon. But you are that God if you take it one step after the other. Be God enough to be faithful to your spouse. Don't bring the children of Jide to Taiwo. And you too, don't promise our love till the end, only you, my dear, and then you marry several wives outside. Be God enough to point at your grave before you go back on your word. A God stand by his word. A God stand by our word. You children, be God enough to honor your parent, perform your filial duty on them, and also pamper them the way they pampered you, because one good turn deserves another. Be God enough. If a politician is God enough, he will not be thinking of looting public treasury and carting it away to oversee, because he knows that the wealth of his people should be enjoyed by his people. And is only but an elected officer in public space who is accountable to the people who elected him. A God think like that. A God first think of himself as a servant to others before a Lord to himself. You are a lecturer in the university. Be God enough to know that it is an opportunity for you to avail your knowledge for others, not an opportunity to sleep with them, threatening them that they will not. Some of you lecturers even think that because you did not pass out with first class, nobody in your department should pass out with first class. It is godly. You are becoming a God if you choose or you decide or you wish that people after you do better than you are. It will take nothing from you to create or replicate a better version of yourself everywhere. You are a businessman, a contractor. Be God enough to use the material you have quoted so that your work can speak after you. When we want to venerate a God of construction, let your name be part of the ancestors that will take and venerate when you are long gone. Be God enough to allow this thing called a shoe, the conscience in you, be the one who tells you what to do. If all of us live as God, nothing will go wrong in our world, because each one will know how to look out for another and to be in their place of calling. If you are a public speaker like me, a teacher, an African spiritualist like me, be God enough to show people how to be a God to themselves. You brought nothing. You will take nothing out. When you die today, all the knowledge dies with you. Be God enough to allow people know how to venerate themselves, how to love themselves, how to approach issues that deals with unseen realm as much as you can. If you will charge them for expertise, charge them and serve them. Every man deserves to be gifted and be appreciated for whatever they are bringing to this table. But be God enough to allow your conscience, issue, guide you properly. Be the God you are looking for. A lot of you have never forgiven those who offended you, but you need forgiveness. Have you forgotten that you need to put a grain of rice in the ground for you to get a whole lot in return? What are you putting in the ground? What is your God self putting in the ground? That determines what you get back. And this has nothing to do with giving your life to any Jesus or dedicating your life to anything. It has to do with you being human and knowing that being human is super enough. Watching out for one another. Looking for the best of those around you. If you are a God and a man in a relationship, what comes to your mind is not how to have sex with her and please your body with her body. It's how to look out for happiness. The same for the woman also. Being God to one another. The shifting of responsibility of Godship to the sky has created so many depravity in our world today, so many immoralities, so many things we cannot even write home about because we have chosen not to be God. When you are doing what is wrong, as a God, you will be ashamed of yourself. I cannot be seen with this thing. I cannot be caught with this lifestyle. I shouldn't be the one in this place. You are being God to yourself. Self-control comes naturally to those who have decided to be God. But a lot of people will prefer to shift this responsibility to the sky because they know it's a whole lot to be God. It's a whole lot to be God. Excuse me, please. All right, please. Don't worry. Sir? Don't worry. For today? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Excuse me, I'm in a hotel. Housekeeping is coming to keep the house. I don't like people keeping my room when I'm in a hotel. I forestall negative energy, especially when the housekeeper is a female human. I don't want propaganda. No, I don't want propaganda. So story doesn't start touching the heart. But really, I avoid people coming into my room for housekeeping when I'm in a hotel. Once I concentrate the environment, I don't allow invasion except you have an approval to come in. Going back to the issue of being God. Being God allows you respect for one another. So a human respect the tree, tree respect water, water respect earth, earth respect air, air respect fire. Everyone stays in their place of divinity. is because water has decided to be God that it keep quenching your thirst today. One thing human being cannot be constantly. Just one thing human being cannot be constantly. A tree will never, irrespective of what you did to it, stop absorbing your carbon dioxide and giving you oxygen. It will never stop. Another area of being God. Remember I said being God. Then being God on time. Now we are talking about being God irrespective. Being God consistently. A water will surely be God to you whenever you need to quench your thirst. It doesn't matter if you are wicked or good. Water will quench your thirst. Doesn't matter if you are a bad person or you are having evil thoughts. A tree will absorb your carbon dioxide and give you oxygen in return. Does not matter. But only you human being will say this one is white, I can't help it. Only you human being will say this one is black, it's a nigger, negro. Well, what a this, what a blah, 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 blah. Just one chance to be God, you mess it up. Just one chance to be one thing, you mess it up. Who told you that you must be repaid back good for good as a God? Do you know your ability of being God also comes with ability to take evil in the place of good? When you are able to absorb it and chest it, that's when you are truly God. Being your share to one epe fun. Atoni ni sùúrù se leyan ọmọ aráyé, ìgbà mi e deserve epe. Epe tí wọ́n wọ̀n ní pẹ̀lú ìgbàjà àbí Congo. Ẹlòmí epe Congo tó epe ìgbàjà ní kó fi trailer àwọn epe yẹn fún kórí ẹ yí dànù. But when you realize you are God, you always ask yourself, what would God do? If I destroy the people I'm God for, what will happen? So it doesn't matter if these people you have chosen to look out for always look down on you. Just be God and flow. Ìgbẹ̀yìn ó padà yóò ló kú ìdá wọn. Bó bá dojú alẹ́, ọlọ́mbrella ó mọ̀ pé ẹrù lòún rù. You know those who carry umbrella around? When it is night time, they will know that umbrella is not that featherweight. It is weighty when the hand begin to. It will be later that the person with hunchback will know that that is not a baby that he or she is backing. Ẹni ń ṣe rí ẹ pé kó máa ṣe nìṣó, ẹni ń ṣèkà ẹ pé ó máa ṣe lọ́jọ́ kan ire oko níre. Ìkà kẹni tí ń ṣèkà, the good you do comes back to you. The evil you do stays with you. But when you are God, you know that you will constantly do good because everything you do is coming back to you. Olórin kan ló kọ lóní, everything you do is coming back to you. Everything you do is coming back to you. Everything you do is coming back to you. So when you know that everything you do comes back to you, what will you do? What would you invest your time to? The water knows that ease, peace, pleasantness is what it desires. So it will always give you relief. So you see water is cold. Water quench your thirst. Water. If you want to have your bath, water. Even if you are in a cold region, you still need water. So water constantly do good because water needs goodness. Everything you do is coming back to you. If you forget everything else, don't forget this. Everything you do is coming back to you. Everything you do is coming back to you as God. You must know that you are the creation or the creator of your own reality. You are the creator of your own reality. The water will create its own reality. What reality are you creating? And how best to create reality is what you do to others. Either good or bad, you do it all to yourself. Either worse or best, You do it all to yourself. Everything you do is coming back to you. Everything you do is coming back to you. Don't be distracted with my voice. Oh, listen to the message. Okay. So it is part of your responsibility being God, not to others now. Know that while being God, you are creating your own reality. What reality are you creating for yourself as a God? It is determined solely by what you do to others is what you get in your life. What you do to others is what happens to you. If you do evil to others, you get evil. You do good to others, you get good. So this is not the case of there is a God in the sky. It is the case of you are in their life. They say, looking up to Jesus, author and finisher of your faith. It is a lie. You know how many people you have authored sorrows, sadness into their life. This got nothing on Jesus. If not for you, Jesus will even be irrelevant. No be una they carry Jesus about. Even Jesus cannot be relevant without you. If Jesus ever existed, it needs you to propagate it. A God that cannot evangelize himself, that needs you to evangelize him through the means of war, battle, killing each other. Is that one God? God is your own selfless act or your own selfish desire. Everything you do comes back to you. The water will keep doing good, so we can't do with that. They say water no get enemy. Omi ò lọ́tà. Nítorí omi ìṣọ̀tá èèyàn. Water doesn't have enemy because water does not go against others. So I'm saying, what reality are you creating for yourself? So somebody was saying, some people take your generosity for granted. Do you know how many times you have wasted water? Do you know how many times you have wasted water? All for me tamba, but to formation D. But that doesn't mean water will stop coming to you. I'm going to tell you something. I went to a certain place. The whole place is rocky. And I was looking for what to do to help. And I realized that they suffer from water in this place. So I said, let the bore drilling machine come and then we begin to dig. So I was given the bill. The person said, I'm going to be drilling this bore for you at the rate of 4,500 naira per meter. 4,500 naira, hear me, 4,500 naira per meter. And from the geo survey, we are digging at least minimum 100 meters. So I said, go ahead. And they started digging the water. When they got to 100 meters, they couldn't find water. They said they wanted to add 30 meters more. I said, go ahead. Remember, we are calculating 4,500 naira per meter. This is 4,500 naira times 130. When they got to 130, they couldn't find water. They went down again. They got to 165 meters before they could find water. The purest of water below the rock before they could see fraction. That's close to 1,700,000 naira plus. Minus installation. And when they gushed the water out, somebody say, sir, you have invested money in this thing. No one has ever dug borehole in this place. They always buy water. So you should sell the water. I wish I can sell. But this is water. So I said, I'm going to be the God of this environment. Do the installation. Let them get water for free. Whoever needs water, let them buy hose. Pass water from here. There's enough water in the ground. Let everybody put borehole in their own house. Get a tank and fill their tank with water. And the person was like, what kind of a human being is this? You invested 1 million, over 1 million naira to get water in an environment that has been in existence for many years, over 100 years, without water, and you say give it free. But I remember that everything I do is coming back to me. What act of goodness are you doing? How are you going to be God? Everything you do is coming back to you. How much of yourself are you willing to give out? Look for places where there is injustice, there is lack, there is want. If you can offer it, give it. You don't need to be counselor. You don't need to be chairman. You don't need to be a politician. Just do your part. Ayelaba, ayela ofisilesi. A lot of you have what it takes in diaspora to make your community in Nigeria better. Can you do your part? Just do your part. A little part here, a little part there, a little part here and there. The universe is watching you at the time you are in need most. That present help in time of need that you have become to others begin to play for you. Everything you do is coming back to you. So when you look out to your future, what reality have you created in the future? Be the God you are looking for. And don't be the God because of what you are expecting back. Be the God irrespective of what you get back. It does not matter the package with which the reward comes. It matters when it meets you, how it meets you. A lot of you there, you have a job to offer. But if the lady doesn't sleep with you, your office is now like a brothel. If we count the number of doggy you have done, number of women that have gone under your table, just because they are looking for a job. You too have children. One day you will not be in that office forever. Retirement will come. Old age will come. You can be sick sometimes. Everything you do is coming back to you. Because you are a woman and you are opportune to be the head of your office. Every young guy that is good looking must come and lie your plate. They must come and lick your plate. They have to go on their knee and lick the plate. Else they will be terminated. Remember that everything you do is coming back to you. Ordinary gateman that you are, a security guard that you are, before they see your boss, you have to collect money from them. That's the reason why you have never left the gate. Between you and the gate in front of your house, we don't know the one who will retire from one. People even change their gate, but you are there forever. You have turned to ancient of days because of those money you want to collect. So because you pay the bill of a certain person, you pay the tuition of a certain person, you pay the tea fare of a person, you must collect their number. Osora ID directory, yellow card, or yellow book. Just because you are able to give a lady a lift, she must land in your brothel or your hotel. Everything you do is coming back to you. And it comes to those of us who are public figures here, who are public figures. We know we can get a woman we like. Women love public figures. They love a woman, a man is popular. They love a star. They love celebrities. Especially when you make sense. You will not allow them to rest in the DM. Your DM is like Musa Fueto guest in or guest house. But in Peramo Lomo pe Fatima, but in pe Janet Lomo pe Juliet, gbogbo wọn pátápátá ni wọ́n ti rí wòwò rẹ̀. Everything you do is coming back to you. You are useful today, you will be useless tomorrow. If in the moment of your usefulness, all you do is to use people. If all you do is to use people, everything you do is coming back to you. Just think about it. This is not preaching of holiness or righteousness, but I'm saying this is a preaching of being God. Would you be a responsible God? What kind of a God are you? Mo pe kala yo ma jaye o. Bọ́kùnrin àti obìnrin bá ríra wọn pàdé tí wọ́n ríra wọn he bóhun ìkẹjọra yín mọ́lẹ̀ kẹ́ ṣe ceiling style kẹ́ ṣe pit of hair style kẹ́ ṣe toilet style kẹ́ ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó bá wù yín kò kàn mí o. Whatever two adult people do behind the closed door is none of my business. But when it comes to give and take, business transaction, if you don't do this, I can't do that. I'm saying you are not a God anymore. You are a slave to the power and the opportunity at hand. Everything you do is coming back to you. Be God irrespective. Be God despite the fact that. Be God in and out of season. Be God in time. Be God timely. Be God always. Be God that you are looking for. Abayo baluruko mi o. I was also told from Rawa. I will be here to admonish you for what is bad, what is true. A lot of you out there, a woman living in diaspora, taking your husband for granted just because you have a power and the system there pays you. Remember, everything you do is coming back to you. If the reason why you want to mess the life of that man up is because you have upper hand, or you are becoming misogynist or misandry or whatever they call it, and you're trying to take the vengeance of your own mother on your own husband, everything you do comes back to you. If you are a man in Africa here, because the system supports you, you decide to take your wife for granted, render homeless and all that. Decide to say, okay, to hell with you and all. Everything you do comes back to you. A downfall driver, a conductor, everything you do, it does not leave out anybody. Because when we live a life thinking and behaving or in the mentality that we are gods, we'll take more responsibility and be a better person, a better human. Everything you do comes back to you. If you teach yourself this, live in that reality, it will be easy to create children who think as gods, who look out for one another, who, despite the fact that the world is filled with dangerous people, choose to be good people because they know that they are God. Everything you do comes back to you. Adara fún wa o, ayẹwa kalẹ̀ o, a ò ní bára yé fọwọ́ tí o, a ò ní kú sórí mo ṣe, a ò ní kú sórí mo jìyà. Ẹni wáyọ̀ fún wa ò ní gbé wa lọ́mọ lọ o, a ò ní ṣorí gbé o, a ò ní rárín fàṣẹ sí, a ò ní kó bàtà fẹ́ gbẹ́ tiwa o, a ò ní rìn lọ́jọ́ tẹ́bi ń pa ọ̀nà, a ò ní sílé lọ́jọ́ tẹ́bi ń palé, bàálù láwọ̀ kò ní já, mọ́tò là ń wà kò ní jáàmù, ayé wa ò ní bàjẹ́, kò ní polúkúrú mọṣù fún wa, ẹni wáyọ̀ fún wa ò ní gbé wa lọ́mọ lọ, wọn ò ní wọ́ bàtà ọ̀fọ̀ sẹ́nu ọ̀nà lé wa o, wọn ò ní torí tiwa gbapò sí idẹ o, wọn ò ní pèpè pàjáwìrì lórí wa o. An unfortunate obituary, untimely obituary, sudden obituary, abrupt obituary will not be pasted because of you. The picture you took last will not be the picture that will be announced as your obituary next. You will not walk in a day that the road is thirsty for blood. You will not be at home on the day that the house is thirsty for blood. You'll be at the right place at the right time, saying the right thing to the right people, being with the right person at the right time. You will never make a mistake that will cost you your life or cost you your home, your marriage, your peace of mind. You will not have a reward of prison term, all in the name of a silly, simple mistake. Your heart will not stop beating abruptly. The ancestors will guide you. The spirit called Eshu, the energy of conviction, the energy of equity, the energy of direction will never leave nor forsake you. The energy will be within you, inside of you, telling you this is the way, walk in it. The universe will meet you with the right amount of wisdom needed to live this life and also to exhume your spirituality. You will be filled with so much direction that you will know what to do, where to go, and what to say per time. You will not do it in vain. You will not labor like an elephant and eat like an ant. You will not be the supporting striker in a place where you should be a major stakeholder. The reward deserving you will not be given to another person. May your own divine reality not be your own antagonist. You will not marry someone else's husband. You will not marry someone else's wife. You will not end up in sadness, sorrow after laboring with a person for a long time. Oh, ní dẹ́lákìsí àjìnwìnì tí ń bá wọn dífá onífá kiri. Ogbó ti tọ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Pàmbàpàmbà lọ́kùlẹ́sẹ̀. Ayé rẹ̀ ò dá. Ọdọọdún la wá ń rówó, ọdọọdún là ń ráwùsá, ọdọọdún là ń rọ́mọ oṣù lórí àtẹ. Wọ́n dífá fọ́rùnmìlà. Wọ́n ní ìwọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà ó ti ṣọdún ẹ̀ní, ò ní ṣẹ̀mí èsì. Ó ní àṣọdúnmọ́dún ní ṣàwọ̀ àṣọdúnmọ́dún. Àṣòròmorò ní ṣàwọ̀ àṣòròmorò. Ọdọọdún là ń rógbó, ọdọọdún là ń ráwùsá, là ń rọ́mọbì lórí àtẹ. Ó ní bàbá gbálé bàbá gbàtà àtàn là ń darí ẹ̀ sí. Gbogbo ẹni bá porí rẹ níbi ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ kí wọ́n máa bálẹ̀ yìí lọ ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ. Oṣó lé ní porí tiẹ̀ níbi ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ kí wọ́n máa bálẹ̀ yìí lọ ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ. Àjẹ́ lé ní porí tiẹ̀ níbi ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ kí wọ́n máa bálẹ̀ yìí lọ ọ̀gẹ́ rẹ. Gbogbo ẹni tí ń wà ní òhò tí ń tafà sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀ rẹ. Ìgbéra báyìí ni làrá nǹkan sanwó-ọlẹ̀. Ìgbérara ni wọ́n mọ̀ ké o. Ẹni bá pé kọ́ kú ni ó kú, ẹni bá pé kọ́ ọ̀rùn ni ó rùn, ẹni bá lòun ó gbẹ̀rín lẹ́nu rẹ̀, omijé ojú òní kó lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Èwo ò ní rómi jẹ́ ẹkún o, ò ní rẹ́rẹ̀kẹ́ ò ṣe o, ayé rẹ̀ ò ní polúkúrú mọ̀ṣú. Just wanted to know that for every decree that I've gone out today, it is now your responsibility to make it as a reality for other people's life. So what you give is what you get. Everything you do comes back to you. Don't forget to join us on all our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Clubhouse, Telegram, and also on our YouTube channel, Baba Yooba, on every of his platform. Baba Yooba on every of his platform. This is an admonition, not really a teaching. Check in with yourself, scan yourself, do an X-ray for yourself. No one knows you better than you do. You know the kind of God you are becoming. Be a good God to others, and be the exact God you are looking for. Create the paradise you want here. Disown the idea of hell you are creating for people. Be God in time, be God consistently, irrespective of what happened. Do your own, leave the rest. Everything you do is coming back to you. 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 Bye now, and have a nice day. Hello.